In the ancient and lush kingdom of Umunna, nestled between rolling hills and fertile valleys, the people lived in harmony with nature and each other. The kingdom was known for its rich culture, vibrant festivals, and warm-hearted people. The villagers celebrated the cycle of seasons with songs and dances, honoring the deities that watched over their lands. Among these people was a humble young woman named Adaeze, whose story would intertwine with that of the kingdom's proud and seemingly invincible Prince Obiora. Adaeze lived in a small but cozy hut with her aging mother. She was known throughout Umunna for her beauty, kindness, and hard-working nature. Despite their modest means, Adaeze's family was respected in the village due to their integrity and generosity. Adaeze's days were filled with chores, from fetching water from the stream to tending to their small garden and helping her mother weave colorful baskets. One fateful morning, as Adaeze was at the stream filling her clay pots, she heard a commotion nearby. It was the prince and his entourage, out on a hunt. Prince Obiora, tall and handsome, with a commanding presence, was known for his prowess in battle and his skill in hunting. However, he was also known for his arrogance and pride. As the prince and his men approached the stream, Adaeze quickly stepped aside to make way for them. Obiora's eyes fell upon Adaeze, and he was struck by her beauty. He dismounted his horse and walked over to her, his gaze unwavering. "What is your name, maiden?" he asked, his voice deep and authoritative. "Adaeze, my prince," she replied, bowing her head respectfully. "You have a beauty that rivals the sunrise, Adaeze," Obiora said, a rare softness in his tone. "You must come to the palace. There is much I would speak with you about." Adaeze felt a mixture of awe and fear. She had heard stories of the prince's conquests, both in battle and in the hearts of women. She knew that an invitation to the palace could mean many things, some of which she was not ready for. However, refusing the prince was unthinkable. "Yes, my prince," she said quietly. Later that day, Adaeze made her way to the palace, her heart pounding with every step. The grand palace of Umunna stood as a testament to the kingdom's wealth and power. Its walls were adorned with intricate carvings and its halls echoed with the sounds of courtly life. A palace servant led Adaeze to a lavish chamber where Prince Obiora awaited her. He greeted her warmly, offering her a seat and food, which she accepted gratefully, though nervously. "I see you are still apprehensive," Obiora noted, observing her cautious demeanor. "Fear not. I mean you no harm. I am simply captivated by your presence and wish to know more about you." As they spoke, Adaeze found herself drawn to the prince despite her initial fear. He was charming and articulate, sharing stories of his adventures and listening intently to her own tales of village life. As the evening wore on, Adaeze began to see a side of Obiora that few others did, a side that was thoughtful, introspective, and even vulnerable. Days turned into weeks, and Adaeze found herself frequently visiting the palace. Her mother, though wary, trusted her daughter's judgment. The villagers began to notice her absence, whispering among themselves about the nature of her relationship with the prince. As time passed, Adaeze and Obiora's relationship deepened. They spent long hours together, walking in the palace gardens, sharing the dreams and fears. Despite his pride, Obiora found himself falling in love with Adaeze's simplicity and sincerity. She, in turn, saw beyond his arrogance and recognized the loneliness and pressure he faced as the heir to the throne. One evening, under the light of a full moon, Obiora took Adaeze's hand and led her to a secluded part of the garden. There, surrounded by fragrant flowers and the gentle hum of night creatures, he confessed his love for her. "Adaeze, I have never met anyone like you," he began, his voice trembling with emotion. "You have shown me a world beyond my royal duties, a world filled with genuine care and affection. I love you, and I wish to make you my wife." Tears welled up in Adaeze's eyes as she listened to his heartfelt words. She loved Obiora deeply, but she knew the challenges they would face. The kingdom would not easily accept a humble village girl as their future queen. Obiora, I love you too, she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. But are you sure? The path ahead will not be easy. I am sure, Adaeze, he replied firmly. Together, we can overcome any obstacle. Will you marry me? With tears streaming down her face, Adaeze nodded. Yes, Obiora, I will. For a while, Adaeze and Obiora's love remained a secret. They continued to meet in secret, cherishing their stolen moments together. However, fate had other plans. One day, Adaeze began to feel unwell. She experienced dizziness and nausea, and her mother, with a knowing look, realized the truth. Adaeze was pregnant. Adaeze, my child, her mother said gently, you are with child. What will you do? Fear gripped Adaeze's heart. She knew that revealing her pregnancy would force her and Obiora to confront the kingdom's expectations and prejudices sooner than they had planned. I must tell Obiora, she decided. We will face this together. That evening, she met Obiora in their secret spot in the garden. With trembling hands, she took his hand and placed it on her stomach. Obiora, I am with child, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. For a moment, Obiora was silent, his face a mask of shock. Then, slowly, a smile spread across his face. We are going to have a child, he said, his voice filled with wonder. Adaeze, this is wonderful news. But what about the kingdom? Adaeze asked, her voice laced with worry. How will they accept this? We will face them together, Obiora said firmly. Our love and our child are all that matter. The next day, Obiora called a meeting with his father, King Nnamdi, and the royal council. Adaeze stood by his side, her head held high despite her fear. Father, esteemed council members, Obiora began, his voice steady. I have something important to tell you. Adaeze and I are in love, and she is carrying my child. I wish to marry her and make her my queen. The room fell silent, the air thick with tension. King Nnamdi's face darkened with anger. Obiora, have you lost your mind? The king thundered. You are the heir to the throne. You cannot marry a village girl, much less one carrying a child out of wedlock. Father, with all due respect, I love Adaeze, Obiora replied, his voice unwavering. Our love and our child are what matter. I ask for your blessing. The council members began to murmur among themselves, some in support, others in opposition. The king raised his hand to silence them. This is a serious matter, he said gravely. We will need to consult the elders and the people of Umunna. For now, Adaeze will stay in the palace under our protection. News of Adaeze's pregnancy and her relationship with the prince spread like wildfire through the kingdom. Some villagers were supportive, while others were outraged. The royal council called for a public gathering to address the matter. On the day of the gathering, the palace courtyard was filled with villages, elders, and nobles. Adaeze stood beside Obiora, her heart pounding in her chest. King Nnamdi and the council sat on an elevated platform, their expressions stern. People of Umunna, the king began, his voice carrying over the crowd. My son, Prince Obiora, has confessed his love for this maiden, Adaeze, and has declared her to be with child. This is a matter of great importance, and we seek your counsel. The elders stepped forward, their faces lined with wisdom and age. They spoke in turn, some advocating for love and acceptance, others warning of the potential consequences for the kingdom's stability and traditions. Finally, it was time for the villagers to speak. One by one, they voiced their opinions, their emotions raw and unfiltered. Some spoke of love and unity, while others expressed fear and anger at the potential disruption to the royal lineage. Adaeze listened, her heart aching with the weight of their words. She felt a hand squeeze hers and looked up to see Obiora's reassuring smile. Stay strong, he whispered. We will get through this. After hours of debate, the elders and the council retreated to deliberate in private. The tension in the courtyard was palpable as everyone awaited the decision. Finally, the elders returned, their faces solemn. The head elder, a wise woman named Neka, stepped forward to address the crowd. "People of Umunna," she began, her voice steady and clear, "we have listened to your voices and have deliberated carefully. Love is a powerful force, and it can unite us in ways nothing else can. However, we must also consider the traditions and stability of our kingdom." She turned to Obiora and Adaeze, her gaze softening. "Prince Obiora, Adaeze, we recognize the depth of your love and the child that it has brought forth. We do not wish to condemn true love, but we must ensure that the path forward is one that honors both your love and our traditions." King Namdi stepped forward, his expression grave but fair. "Obiora, Adaeze, the elders have proposed a trial. If Adaeze can complete 3 tasks that prove her worthiness, she shall be accepted as your wife and future queen. If she fails, you must accept the council's decision and honor our traditions." Obiora's heart pounded, but he nodded resolutely. "We accept the trial," he declared. "Adaeze will prove her worthiness." The next day, the first task was announced. Adaeze was to retrieve a rare and sacred herb, the insibidi leaf, which only grew deep in the Enugu forest. The herb was known for its healing properties and was guarded by dangerous animals and treacherous terrain. Accompanied by Obiora, Adaeze set off for the forest. The journey was long and arduous, filled with numerous dangers. They encountered wild animals, thorny underbrush, and treacherous cliffs. But Adaeze's determination never wavered. She was fueled by her love for Obiora and the child growing within her. After days of relentless searching, Adaeze finally found the sacred insibidi leaf, glowing faintly in a clearing bathed in moonlight. With a triumphant smile, she plucked the herb and made her way back to the village, exhausted but victorious. Upon their return, the council announced the second task. Adaeze was to weave a cloth of unity, incorporating threads from each of the kingdom's different regions. This task symbolized the importance of unity and harmony within Umunna. Adaeze spent weeks traveling to the various regions of the kingdom, collecting threads from the people. She listened to their stories, shared in their joys and sorrows, and gathered threads of every color and texture. With each thread, she wove not just a cloth, but a tapestry of the kingdom's diversity and strength. When the cloth was finally complete, it was a masterpiece of artistry and symbolism. The council was moved by Adaeze's dedication and the beauty of her creation. The villagers marveled at the cloth, seeing in it a reflection of their own lives and the unity that bound them together. The final task was the most daunting of all. Adaeze was to mediate a long-standing feud between 2 rival families in the kingdom. The heirs and Udo families had been at odds for generations, their enmity threatening the peace and stability of Umunna. Adaeze, accompanied by Obiora, visited each family, listening to the grievances and understanding their pain. She mediated discussions, encouraged empathy, and slowly began to bridge the gap between the 2 families. It was a slow and delicate process, requiring patience, wisdom, and immense emotional strength. Over time, the families began to see each other not as enemies, but as fellow villagers with shared hopes and dreams. The peace that Adaeze brokered was fragile, but it held, and the kingdom breathed a collective sigh of relief. Having completed the 3 tasks, Adaeze stood before the council and the villagers once more. The elders and King Namdi conferred quietly, their expressions thoughtful. Neka, the head elder, stepped forward. "Adaeze, you have completed the task set before you with grace, courage, and wisdom. You have proven yourself worthy not only of Prince Obiora's love but of the love and respect of our entire kingdom. We accept you as the future queen of Umunna." The courtyard erupted in cheers and applause. Adaeze's heart swelled with joy and relief as she turned to Obiora, who embraced her tightly. King Namdi approached them, his stern expression softening. "You have shown great strength and humility, Adaeze. I welcome you into our family and our kingdom." The weeks that followed were filled with preparations for the royal wedding. The palace buzzed with activity as villages and nobles alike came together to celebrate the union of Obiora and Adaeze. On the day of the wedding, the palace was adorned with flowers and vibrant decorations. The air was filled with the sounds of music and laughter. Adaeze, radiant in her wedding attire, walked down the aisle with her mother by her side. Obiora, resplendent in his royal robes, waited for her with a look of pure adoration. As they exchanged vows, the kingdom of Umunna watched with hearts full of hope and joy. The love between Obiora and Adaeze had not only united them but had also brought the kingdom closer together. Years passed, and Obiora and Adaeze ruled Umunna with wisdom and compassion. Their love story became a legend, a tale of overcoming pride and prejudice, of love conquering all obstacles. Their child, a symbol of their union, grew up in a kingdom that valued unity and love above all else. Adaeze, once a humble village girl, became a beloved queen whose legacy was one of kindness, strength, and unwavering love. Answer: the kingdom of Umunna thrived, its people living in harmony, guided by the example set by the proud prince and his courageous queen.
Thanks for watching. For more content, subscribe to our channel, like, share, and comment on this video.